Welcome back and thank you for staying with KTN Prime. Let's now evaluate our political pulse. And joining me for this particular conversation to my far right is Wilson Sosion, who is a former nominated member of parliament. Good evening and karibu.
Yeah, good evening.
Next to him, we have Willis Otieno, an advocate and deputy president designate of Safina Party. Do you still use that?
Deputy party leader of Safina Party.
Okay.
And the deputy president designate
Same
of the
thing.
Republic of Kenya.
Okay. Of the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
It's good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so there's a lot to talk about, but let's start with the issue of State House becoming a new political podium. Before we even dive into it, let's just listen in.
Jama ya kuniharibia mkutano. Sasa tutam imeingilia wapi kwa hii mkutano?
Kasongo aende, Kasongo aende, Kasongo. Hey. Ona to hatire yone Kasongo. Ona do. Gutomeka ya koru muno muraga geta gwate. Neigana mara gakuda gutomeka inoke. Wewe unasema kila mtu wako na bei. Ati unaweza nunua kila mtu. Aliita watu 6,000 kutoka Murang'a pale Ikulu, akawapatia kila mtu 10,000. Atawampigia kura. Mnaweza pigia Kasongo kura? Mnaweza mpigia?
All right, that is President William Ruto at State House while he was hosting teachers, I think, on Saturday when they ended up chanting two-term. And of course, the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, they're just having his take on what has been happening at State House. So, Willis, let's start with you, perhaps. State House has become the new political podium. That's what critics are saying. Do you agree with this?
Of course, it's obvious. The facts speak for themselves. And it's quite unfortunate that our congregation of teachers, who are amongst the most learned group in this country, did not meet in State House to discuss school capitation, to discuss the transition from junior secondary to high school, to discuss school infrastructure development, but just to chant two-term. It tells you how those grounds have been desecrated. This is not what Kenyans deserve, but this is what legacy politics serves Kenyans. That is legacy politicians in their best element, where they turn every public platform to be about themselves, not using an opportunity that presents itself to discuss issues that affect the people of Kenya. And that is what, as a Safina Party, we are rejecting. We are rejecting legacy politics, which is about mtu wetu, mtu mkubwa. We want Kenyans to move into a political space where we're discussing issues that are germane to the common man, issues that affect Kenyans. How can you have teachers meeting in State House and you give them 10,000 Kenya shillings after spending a whole day and some of them even a whole night without even a meal? Then you give them 10,000 and yet you are not paying attention to the issue of what are we doing to improve our education system. There's even not a single resolution that discusses what are we doing in terms of enhancing teacher welfare. My friend here is a former secretary of the union. And if you ask him, and to be truthful to you, he will tell you, the last time when teachers got salary increment, they were received between 27 Kenya shillings to 500 Kenya shillings. Now, the 27 shillings that was given to a teacher as salary increment, was it Yakutoa or Fuliza? That doesn't make sense. So teacher welfare has now been reduced. You are reducing teachers to become pawns in political games. So you bring them to State House as props, photo ops, to show people that you have support. It's a shame, if you ask me.
All right. Coming to you, how do you differentiate these meetings from campaigns?
There's a big difference, a whole world of difference. State House is a people's institution, and citizens are free to engage the head of state on key national issues at all times. I know those of us who would wish to see the president fail, those who would not wish to see some key flagship projects succeed, would like to see the president fail.
Like which flagship projects
Yeah, would like to see the president fail. Now, let's come to the teachers' meeting. Let's narrow down to the teachers' meeting. It has never happened that teachers are privileged to have a high-level policy meeting with the president, like it did happen. To me, and as a veteran unionist who has been a president EI and who has worked globally to campaign for teachers' political and democratic rights, the event that happened yesterday was by design. From what the president did in 2022 by negotiating and signing a charter with the stakeholders in education, a charter spelled out very many key policy positions when President Ruto assumes power after election. And indeed, after assuming power, there was a presidential working party that implemented many provisions in the charter. And this was the best opportunity for the president to engage directly with the leaders of teachers' unions and their associations on key issues affecting education. And you cannot bastardize, because teachers have an opportunity to engage the president directly on issues that are beneficial to their profession and to education and to the country at large.
That's teachers. Allow me to cut you short. You'll continue with your... Allow me.
Allow me.
I will. Just allow me. You're saying teachers. It's not just teachers that we've seen going to State House. We have seen different communities as well. So
yes.
You can't narrow it in just to teachers.
Of course, we've picked an example of teachers, just talked about it very extensively. But if you look at what teachers had, number one was the reduction of the CPA period from 4 years to 3 or 2 less than, and our working party is working on that. That is going to see teachers earn more than if the salaries were phased out for 4 years. And McHugh, within 3 years, President William Ruto has reviewed teacher salaries twice. Number two, the number of teachers being promoted will double from 25,000 to 50,000. And remember, the 25,000 was resumption, massive resumption, through the promise that the president has made, accounting on the number of teachers who have been employed close to 100,000, a very huge and significant number that is going to turn around quality of education in this country. This is a fact that needs to be talked about. It's an achievement by the government, and also reviewing the capitation and disbursements and the gaps that existed. There are quite a number of issues that were discussed, including even establishment of competency-based resource centers at the counties to ensure the delivery of quality education in this country. So according to me, within the ILO UNESCO framework, teachers of Kenya enjoyed an opportunity to advance their political and democratic rights by engaging the president directly. That's a right. State House was not built to become a museum that is isolated from the public. It's supposed to be utilized by the public, and the occupant of State House is a servant of the people of Kenya, and we are in a democratic government, and therefore the president must engage the public. When you look at the delegations from the different counties of Kenya, the president signed charters with every county, and there is a development master plan for every county, and the president will have an opportunity to review the extent of the implementation of this charter that is aligned to the flagships and the pillars of his administration on which he was elected, by engaging the people. Do we want a president who cannot engage the people, or we want a president to engage the people on salient issues that affect the people? Those who are very busy looking at using a political lens, or rather a blind lens, to the development of the country, will bastardize this kind of engagements. These are the privileges of the president, to meet the people, to meet the delegations, both local and international, and that is why State House was set aside and built, and even budget devoted to State House for such purposes. So for me, this is proper utilization of the infrastructure resources available to the president in engaging the people of Kenya, and that is not going to stop. It will go on. It's part of the traditions and governance in this country. And I think the president is doing a fantastic job in terms of engaging these different groups of people. The question we should be asking is, who else is being excluded from getting this opportunity to engage the president at State House?
Okay.
And naturally, as a president, he will be more privileged. Some people read politics. The president, indeed, is a politician by any standard. And such engagements are political. Even negotiations that people engage in, it's founded in politics. And let me tell you, what is not politics in the world?
Okay.
Every development aspect
All right.
and its and journey is founded on politics. That's
Okay.
a fact for sure.
let me
That
just-
is why he's very busy looking for political power. He has christened himself as the next Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. If you'll be lucky to be one and to be a resident of Current, I'm sure you'll be meeting the people of Kenya. That will be your right. And this country, there is freedom of association, freedom to engage and meet any group. So I don't see anything unusual, anything strange, anything peculiar that we should discuss about. We should be talking about the take home from each group.
Mheshimiwa, when you talk, someone will actually think that what you are saying is true. Because look at it this way. All of a sudden, State House is an open place and every Kenyan should go. When our young people say we want to visit State House to go and raise our issues, they are met with barricades, police batons, tear gas, and bullets. So are they lesser Kenyans than the 10,000 teachers who are bused? Now let me finish. So the point is this. We are saying don't use the grounds of State House for political purposes. But we also recognize it is his right to do it. But we are simply asking, once you've called these teachers, the education sector is in shambles. What are the key take-homes that this discussion that you had, just from what we are witnessing on TV here, we are seeing even the host himself is embarrassed with those discussions of Sijui two-term. He's embarrassed because we are not discussing any serious issue here. There's no difference between this and Kamukunji grounds, people chanting political sloganeering. When you go to State House, you want to see policy discussions that enrich the lives of the people of Kenya. But legacy politicians can never allow that. Then also when you talk about people going to State House to discuss charters, the development promises, Honorable Sossion is a former member of parliament, and he knows, or he ought to know, that budget making is now a function of parliament where he served. So that, what are you going to discuss in State House? This is what is encouraging a country that is being run outside our laws. Because when a president stands up and says, I'll build for you, you ask for a road, I'll build it. You ask for a dam, I'll build it. Where is he getting all these powers and all this money to build all these many things? When budget making is settled comfortably in parliament, so that if anybody wants a road, if anybody wants a dam, you go and lobby in parliament and make sure that project is included in the appropriations bill. Then it is passed, public resources are appropriated towards that particular project. But this big man syndrome, where somebody thinks it's Father Christmas, is not Father Christmas. Father Christmas is a myth. What we are witnessing and being shown to us every day is political indiscipline from the president, is an abuse of our institutions, an abuse of our laws, total disregard of the rule of law that the Kenyan people committed to live by. And finally, on the teachers, we can take divergent positions here. But what is happening on the ground? When you're talking that you've employed 50,000 teachers extra, we have JSS teachers.
It is actually 70.
You have, even if it's 100,000, even if it is 100,000, we have JSS teachers who are employed. You know how much they're earning? They're earning 17,000 Kenya shillings per month. In this economy, somebody has gone to university, graduated, qualified, and you're entrusting the future generation in their hands, and you pay them a pittance, 17,000 Kenya shillings, no other emolument. Let me finish. When you decide that you're increasing CBA salary increment to teachers, don't tell us that we've increased by 2 billion. Go to the individual teacher per capita. How much has each teacher gotten home? Because when you look at the pay slip of the teacher, the pay slip of a teacher, the increment was between 27 Kenya shillings, and I challenge him to dispute that, to 500 Kenya shillings. And yet, that same pay slip in this financial year was subjected to a 2.5% increase on affordable housing. It is subjected to an enhanced VAT tax band. So the pay slip is already paying 70% of it goes to government as tax. Then you come and make a measly salary increment. You cannot even use percentage. Somebody earning 27% shillings more.
Yeah.
Even if you do the fraction of percentage, it cannot even be 0.02%. It cannot. So it's a mockery. But we should not just be saying it's a mockery. We should be saying, what is the impact of this mockery on this nation? The impact is we are messing up generation of Kenyans. Mr. Sosion can sit here with me. We can shout. We can argue. He went through a functioning school system. I did go through a functional school system, but my heart yearns and cries for those young ones whose future is being messed up by William Ruto and Kenya
Okay,
Kwanza.
as you respond, let's talk about the cost of all these engagements, as you've called them. So there were 10,000 teachers on Saturday, and each were given 10,000 shillings. If my math does not fail me, that's around 100 million shillings. That is just facilitation. They wined, they dined. Let's not forget, governors, members of parliament, and MCAs are also being offered 10 to 50 million shillings to transport these delegates. Let's not forget, when it's leaders, they get a range of 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings, depending on the clout of political power. So in a day, roughly, the government spends not less than 200 million shillings. If you host four delegations, that's around 1 billion shillings in a week. Kenyans are asking, where's the money coming from? Considering the president has been saying we need to live within our means.
Yeah, before I talk about the cost, allow me to repart on a few comments that Willis is making. And you know, Willis is just talking like a street roller coaster. You must check facts. I've been in this space negotiating and fighting for teachers. And I've seen teachers rise economically from using bicycles to driving cars to school because of improved salaries. And any advanced improvement in terms of pay is quite welcome. It's a good thing. And the president reviewing salaries in 2023 and 2025, and even last Saturday compressing the duration of CBAs from 4 years to a lesser period is a great achievement, not only for teachers, but also for workers, because that policy is going to cut across. And I think any union worth being called a union representing workers should celebrate any slight achievement of that magnitude. And that is very phenomenal, because it is going to benefit all the workers, not only teachers. We must speak facts about it. Then number two, he has talked about quite a number of things. I
want you to talk about the cost.
Yes, I'll come down.
Because we need to take a break, hence why.
And when it comes to the cost, all public activities and public engagements are budgeted for. The office of the president is budgeted for. Operations of State House are indeed also budgeted for. And there would be nothing wrong. People are asking where 100 million is coming from to facilitate 10,000 teachers on behalf of teachers to have a constructive meeting with the president. I think that is not a question to ask. I think, to me, they should even have been paid more. But whatever they've been paid was modest, and it was quite acceptable for that particular moment. You cannot expect such an office and such engagements to go on without facilitation. There must be facilitation, because that is an investment of very many other things. And I would also like to tell Willis, teachers are human beings. They must also participate in the politics of the day. It is within their right. So if they so declare that President William Ruto deserves 2 terms, and they said it in unison, in broad daylight, that should not hurt you. That is their right. So respect their right. And I think teachers are very clear. I've checked out, and teachers are very happy with the statements that the president communicated to them. One, the general state of the country in terms of governance, the economy and welfare of the country. I think he outlined it very well to teachers. And the general state of education and the specific issues that they agreed with the president, because they raised about 10 key issues that affects teachers and education, and those matters were addressed. I think we should be very happy that we have a very pragmatic and a very progressive president who allows people to discuss their issues. And very fundamentally,
take a break.
when you talk of, oh, we must look how these matters must be in Parliament, we'll be violating Article 10 of the Constitution, the principle of public participation. And those forums also are part of public participation. When the president convenes a sitting of 10,000 leaders from the basic education who really run the day-to-day activities of education so that they discuss, communicate, and agree on issues, it is important for forward progress of education in this country. And to me, I think the right thing has been done. Those who think
we need to take a break.
Those who think that the president is benefiting politically and are not happy about it, they are like Willis. They are entitled to make their own comments. But you see, Kenyans are able to judge on their own.
We'll continue with this after the break.
Let me just say
No, we need to take a break.
Just one thing.
And for the first time, no president has convened teachers to engage them in serious matters from 8 o'clock to almost 1 p.m. like what was done last week.
All right, we'll let you rebuttal after this break.
And by the way, it's being celebrated globally.
Okay, and by the way, you've just said that it was budgeted. The latest report by the Auditor General has raised question about the disbursement of 5.03 billion shillings sent to the office of the president for expenditures that were non-urgent and necessary or for events that had already passed. We take a short break. We'll be back with more.